guys, we are at the Indian demo tent all day, and we are now on the Indian 2024 Sport Chief. This badass bike is the redesign. I had a 2015 Chief, but the Sport Chief is nothing like it. It's redesigned for sportier handling, better suspension, more power, because you can always use more power in a motorcycle. It's America. If we're not adding more power, we're doing something wrong. So we're going to go over this awesome bike today, and the first thing we're going to go over is comfort. If a bike isn't comfortable, you won't want to ride it. Now, this is the Sport Chief. It has a different purpose. It's not really set up for touring. It's made for sporty handling and ripping around and having a badass time. Now, that being said, I'm a little bit lean forward, and I also have mid pegs, which even on the Scouts, like the Scout 101, new with its really like awesome engine and all that, it had forward controls. So I'm a bit perplexed as to why we've got mids on here. I think forward controls would have been way more comfortable, but that's just my opinion. So we've got mid controls, risers into very short handlebars here, and a very upright, slightly lean forward-ish position with a slightly comfortable seat, I should say. I don't think it was built for comfort. Of all the Indians I've ridden today, I've given them fairly high scores on comfort with my ratings. This is the least comfortable one so far. All of those things we just talked about taken into consideration, I would give it about a 6 out of 10 on comfort. Not the best, and Indian is known for making incredibly comfortable bikes, but this bike has a different purpose. What it lacks in the comfort, it will make up for in the handling category and the performance category. Don't worry. Speaking of performance, we're now on the highway. We are in 5th gear. We are in sport mode. I made sure of that before we left. And we're just going to open her up and see what she does. I don't really have a clear line here. So safety concerns being first, I don't know that I'm going to get it open all the way. But the Thunderstroke 116, the award-winning Thunderstroke engine from Indian. Actually, the 111 was the award winner. I'm sure the 116 is too. It's fantastic. We've got all kinds of great features with that 116. The Thunderstroke has 3 riding modes. On the air-cooled, you have, let's see. On air-cooled Indians, those modes are going to be Sport, which we're in right now. Then there is Standard, and then there's Tour, which would be like a rain mode on the liquid-cooled engines from Indian. Just a difference in what they call it, but Tour versus rain mode. Engine braking and deceleration, incredibly smooth. Engine doesn't grab you, even in Sport mode. It's very smooth deceleration. Since we're at a stop, I will also mention, when you come to a stop with the Thunderstroke 116, you have rear cylinder deactivation. Why would you want that? Well, it saves you on 2 things. Number 1, it saves heat from coming off the bike, or as much heat when you're in a stop and go or red light situation. Number 2, it also saves on gas. So if that's not your thing, you can deactivate it. You don't have to have the rear cylinder deactivation on. You can turn that off. Possible for me to find a kickstand today. Oh. There she is, the Sport Chief. I love the Indian head graphic. It is classic, and what they did here with the black behind it and the red, I believe they call this ruby metallic smoke, something like that. It's just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. 116 cubic inch engine. You can obviously set this up with bags or for 2-up and turn it into a bagger. My original Chief was a bagger. The redesigned Chief that they did a few years ago looks nothing like what my Chief did in 2015. Now the closest thing to that would be the Springfield. This new design is super sporty. You could put a 2-up and you could put passenger pegs, but if you're into that sport aggressive look, this is what you want to go for here, guys. You've got Fox racing shocks in the rear. Looks awesome. In the front, we've got dual floating Brembo disc brakes. Brembo are some of the best brakes out there. LED Pathfinder headlamp set into our shorty fairing. 2-into-1 blacked out exhaust. Sporty solo seat. Indian badge on the tank strap. That's about it. Let's talk about Indian Ride Command and the features you get up here. Digital screen. Got all kinds of information here. You guys can take a look at that. I'm just going to tap on one of these gauges and it will change to a different screen here. If you just want less info and more information, you know, right in front of your eyes for quick glance as far as tachometer and speedo, this would be the screen you'd use. Otherwise, tap and go back to that if you're like me and you're a nerd and you like to have all the information. We can swipe through these screens as well. We've got outside air temperature, battery, range, fuel economy. If we tap next screen, we can get information about our current ride. There's trip A, or trip 1 they call it, trip 2, odometer, back around. Then you have navigation. Navigation also has traffic and weather radar. If we go to settings, there's your Tour, Standard, and Sport, brightness, auto. We're going to leave everything just the way it is there. We can pair our phone up for phone calls and music controls. There's no speakers, obviously. It would be speakers inside your helmet, but you can control it from here. You have toggles on the backside of your handlebars, so you don't have to touch this while riding. You can control it all from here. Music and volume control over here, as well as voice control, probably for like Siri. Cruise control, standard. Go back to these controls here, and we'll go to those controls. Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. We can see information about the bike, time to oil change, different types of settings that you can do. You can update the software on here, choose your time format, GPS, and then you can change that cylinder deactivation, like I said. You also have a passcode lock on here, so you don't always have to have the fob with you. This is on all Indians, but you can change the passcode. So if you don't have the fob, you can set a blind code with your turn signals, and it's kind of cool. So you don't have to have the fob with you at all times. All right. What she lacked in comfort, she made up for in power, and is going to further make up for here in handling. With the mid pegs and the riser style handlebars up here in the front, you can be aggressive. You can lean this sumbitch over pretty darn far. Yeah, handling, not as good as the Scout, which is a smaller bike, and obviously the Scouts are even, you know, a little more sporty than this, so they will have better handling, but the handling is no slouch. I'm going to say the handling on here, a good solid 8.5. Let's give it an 8.5 out of 10. As far as style is concerned, you guys heard me talk a little bit about this versus the old Chief. So if you're new to Indian, this probably doesn't make much sense to you, but Chief went through a big redesign. I believe it was 2021 or 22. I think it was 22. There was a big redesign with the Indian Chief. They went from an older style classic look, which is what my old Chief was. If you want to see videos on that, I've got my old Chief videos on my channel. And they went to this new sporty design. Looks nothing like the old Chief, and now the Springfield, the Indian Springfield, is what looks like the old Chief. So this is no longer a classic looking Indian. They've overhauled the modern design. It's sporty, it's aggressive, it's kind of the same way through the whole Chief lineup. This is the Sport Chief in particular, so it's tuned a little different. But on the whole, the entire Chief lineup was redesigned a few years ago. If you guys like that, you know, styling is just personal preference, so I won't comment too much on that. I prefer the classic look, but it was a very relaxed bike. It wasn't super aggressive and fast like this either. So they made not just a visual change, but a performance change as well. It's a completely different bike. Alright, so I think that's about everything. Power, performance, comfort, style, and I've shown you guys the bike. So if there's anything I missed or you have a question on, let me know down below. I'm happy to answer any questions or comments you guys have. I own an Indian, I own a Harley, so I'm happy to talk to you guys about any sort of American cruisers, even Kawasaki's, because I owned a few of those as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and just smash that thumbs up button. That helps me crack the YouTube algorithm and get this video out to more people who are interested in watching these awesome test drive videos. If you're new here and you feel that I've earned it, I've given you guys useful information, please consider subscribing. It's the big red button. Click the bell icon next to it. That'll give you guys notifications when there are new videos to watch right here on Motoblade. I've got so many test drive videos coming out from Americade. I've been on Indian all day today. We're going to Harley tomorrow. We've got Honda in the works. So there's going to be a lot of great stuff coming out for you guys from Americade. So be sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, y'all know what to do. Be careful out there. Ride safe. Ride on. I'll catch you on the next video. Deuces.